Did it play?
No, it didn't.
Try it again, folks. Hold on. What's going on, everybody? Christian Ballard, Ballard Sports Media, coming at you with the return of Touchdown Tuesdays. My boy Mayhem Matthew. What's up, brother?
What's up? What's up? How y'all doing today? We are broadcasting live on Ballard Sports Media and Eat 'em Dogs channel. So if you like the content, whatever channel you're on, smash the thumbs up button.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
so
We got a lot of good takes today, and we're sorry for the technical issues there with the intro.
yeah. So today we're going to be doing our normal touchdown takes, and then we got some exciting stuff for you. So keep on watching to find out. Ballard, let's go ahead and get into your first take.
Yeah, so um, my first take of the afternoon here is that Alabama could probably make the playoffs. They could run the table the regular season. But I'm going to make a bet because of how young of a team they are. I'm going to say they don't have a Heisman finalist in 2023. What do you think, man? I don't even think Jalen Milroe is going to be good enough to be a Heisman finalist.
Yeah, so I do think Jalen Milroe is going to be y'all starting quarterback. Running back. I don't y'all lose Jameer Gibbs. Y'all have a really young team. I don't really see a wide receiver that y'all have breaking out and winning the Heisman. Y'all don't have a Will Anderson, even though y'all do have a Dallas Turner. Um, it's been a long time since a defensive guy won the thing. Probably the best chance for a defensive guy to win was, Will Anderson and then Aiden Hutchinson. So, if y'all don't have one of them guys this year, so I would totally agree. Alabama has no Heisman finalists in 2023, unless because everybody's hyping up Jalen Milroe, how he looks a lot better than he did in the season last year. I'm not sure how true that is because whenever you're going through spring practice, a lot of times you're not allowed to hit the quarterback and you're not allowed to even get near him. So I don't know how much better he's gotten. I mean, we all knew that he can throw the football 50, 60 yards because that's why Alabama recruited him. So I know we've seen that 50-yard pass. I don't know. I would totally agree with you though.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those things. I'm not trying to put Jalen Milroe down. I'm definitely not trying to do that, but I just think that he's probably your average quarterback. I mean, he looks a little bit like if you have to go either above or below average, he's definitely more on the above side. But, at the same time, I mean, he's a pocket passer, he's mobile. He reminds me a lot. I know they have the same first name, but reminds me of Jalen Hurts when he first got to Alabama. I don't know if I'd compare him to Jalen Hurts today, but makes me think of Jalen Hurts when he first got to Alabama. And remember, he wasn't a Heisman finalist. So you look at the rest of this team: Dallas Turner, Chris Braswell taking place of Will Anderson. Sorry, been dealing with a cough. Will Anderson is gone. Chris Braswell, Dallas Turner step up. Jordan Battle is gone in the secondary. Kool-Aid McKinstry comes back for his junior year. I think these guys could be elite. I think they could be dominant. I don't think that there's a standout guy like a Will Anderson or a Bryce Young on this year's Alabama team. I just don't. So I
Uh,
think it's a
yeah,
team effort, and everybody's just got to do what they got to do to win games.
yeah. I think Jalen Milroe, really reminds me of Anthony Richardson a little bit. Very athletic. Can throw the ball 100 yards or whatever. Can run with his legs. But I need to see a little bit more from him. I need to see him in a big time game. I'm not saying one of y'all's cupcake games. I need to see y'all in a real, um, maybe Alabama versus Tennessee, maybe Alabama versus Ole Miss, Alabama versus A&M. I need to see him in a SEC action packed match and see what he can do there. Let's go to my first take here and only take. Um, Washington gets back into the playoffs. Remember, 2016, 2017, they made the playoffs for the very first time. They got a brand new head coach. And I really do believe that head coach, I mean, what, he won 9 games last year, if I'm not mistaken, 8 or
Mhm.
9. I believe he exceeds that and he finds a way to get into the playoffs. Washington, I believe they bring back a lot on offense and defense, and I think they're going to win the Pac-12 as well. So I guess that's another bold take there. But Washington gets back into the playoffs. They might lose one game or so, but um, don't be uh, don't be shocked if you see Washington back in the playoffs.
Yeah, I fully agree with you there. You look at what they did last year, man. They went 11-2. I think they went 10-2 in the regular season. And like you said, they return a lot of great talent. They bring back Michael Penix at quarterback. So this could be a loaded team. And when I look at teams that bring back a quarterback, bring back running backs, bring back receivers, bring a lot back, it's either you stay there, they're either going to stay there at 11 wins this year like they did last year in total, or you have to step forward unless something goes wrong with the coaching staff. And who knows if they sneak out the Pac-12, and they have a good enough record, 11-1 or 12-0, one loss or undefeated, they could back their way into the college football playoff, which again we haven't seen since the 2016 season. You go back, that was a long time ago, when Jalen Hurts was a freshman. So
Yeah, so let's cheers to the chat real quick. So since we got some people commenting, welcome to the show, Dominic the Cool Dude, and also the real
Big
back to
Lee.
back Lee. And I seen him at the Georgia celebration this past season, and it was amazing to see you, and I'm glad you're watching. So let's get into something else. We did our takes. Let's do most exciting football games in 2023. Ballard is going to take this first one. He says that he's excited to see Alabama versus Texas week 2.
Yeah, Texas is coming off a bowl loss to Washington, who we just talked about. It's interesting if Quinn Ewers is fully healthy, in that game out against Alabama. They say if Quinn Ewers didn't get hurt, maybe they would have won the game. It was 20-19 last year in Texas. Um, and of course, this game is being played at Bryant-Denny Stadium. It's a much tougher environment. You go on the road in the SEC. This is to kind of show before they leave for the SEC that they can hang around with the big boys. I think they showed that last year against Alabama, but I think they want to show it again. And, you know, Alabama's going to have quarterback questions there. I think what's interesting too, Mayhem, is that Texas is also going to have quarterback competition. They bring in 5-star Arch Manning and former 5-star Quinn Ewers. I think when you look at that, we don't know the exact situation of the quarterback competition there. And we also won't know fully who the starter is for Alabama. So I think both of these teams having questions at quarterback and having young receivers and probably decent defense for Texas, great defense for Alabama, I think could fit very well on the field.
Yeah, I do think Quinn Ewers is going to be the starter for Texas. You have to give the most experienced guy a chance. Arch Manning, he's going to be a true freshman. We don't know what we're going to see out of this guy, Arch Manning. He was a number one recruit in the nation, number one quarterback in the nation coming into this year. He played at a smaller school, so Alabama versus Texas is coming up. Quinn Ewers already has experience playing Alabama. It's got to be Quinn Ewers unless he just lays a turd somewhere. I think Quinn Ewers is going to be your quarterback versus Alabama in week 2. But for the next game that I think is going to be the most exciting for next year is going to be LSU versus Florida State. It's week 1, guys. Last year we seen Florida State versus LSU, and Florida State won. Florida State then went on to win 8 more games. I think they won 9 games in total. But this Florida State team really surprised a lot of us. And they bring back their quarterback. LSU brings back their quarterback. LSU brings back more than just a quarterback. So does Florida State. I'm going to just say this. LSU versus Florida State. This is going to be if whoever wins this game, which I think both of them still going to have a pretty good year, but whoever wins this game is going to go on. This is going to be a momentum starter for one of these two teams. And listen, I think LSU is going to win this game. So LSU's going to have a great year. I think whoever wins this game is just going to build off of this game and win a whole string of games.
I fully agree with you there. You know, I just made a video on the channel yesterday, actually, where I titled it, "What is Florida State's ceiling in 2023?" And I put some terms in there. Are they national title bound? Are they winning the ACC? Or are they just going to settle it for New Year's 6? I think it's ACC title or bust for Florida State. Think about this. You got to go back literally, we're going 10 years. That was the year with the kick 6. That was the final year of the BCS. You remember Jameis Winston, Mr. Crab Legs, and Jimbo Fisher. They had it all. They won the national title. So I don't know. Maybe it's a bit of a stretch for a national title hopes, but I will say this. You got the SEC West runner-up versus a ACC title contender going head-to-head on a neutral site field the first week of the year. I think anything's possible. And I said, I think I had LSU 10-2. I don't remember who else I had them losing to. I think I had them losing to Florida State. I think actually I had them 10-2. They lose to Florida State and Alabama this year. But yeah, I mean, I like Florida State a little bit more than LSU. These are two, I don't know, man, two very hyped up teams right now. They're ready to play some football, and I think the best is yet to come for these programs.
Yeah, and just to reiterate what I said in the beginning, whoever wins this game is going to tell the tale for these teams' season. LSU wins, they go on to have a great season. Florida State wins, they go on to have a great season. Even if one of these two teams lose, I still think both of them are going to have a great season, but one of these teams are going to have a fantastic season. And I'm saying that because this is the Touchdown Tuesdays where we make bold claims. I think LSU could be your 11-1 going into the SEC championship next year. And we talk about Florida State. He said it's ACC championship or bust. What about this game right here? Clemson versus Florida State.
Set the tone. That's what that is. Set the tone. Who's going to win the Atlantic Division? That's what this is going to come down to. You look at Cade Klubnik. You look at a talented defense of Clemson. I have to pull up the roster. I know they bring in a 5-star in Peter Woods, who looked pretty good, has looked pretty good in the spring, from what I understand. So I just know Clemson's supposed to have this dominant defense. You got Florida State, you got Jordan Travis, you got all of that. Remind me again, is this game in Clemson or is it in Tallahassee? Do you know? Let me
Well,
see.
last year they played at Tallahassee, so this year it has to be at Clemson.
Okay, so that makes it more interesting. Can not only Florida State compete with Clemson, but possibly pull an upset in Death Valley?
Yeah, because Clemson, they did lose their streak to South Carolina last year at home. They had like a 30 something win streak at home. They lost it. Clemson's going to be pretty upset that they lost that. Um, like I said, I still think Clemson is going to win the ACC. Clemson has a new offense coordinator. Um, and I think that they were one quarterback away, one offense coordinator away. They got the running back. They got the offensive. Well, they need a little bit better offensive line, but I think the offensive coordinator is going to take care of that. They got the defense, obviously. I think Clemson gets back into them good old glory days that Clemson had whenever they were winning 2 out of 3-year national championships. So, look, I think Florida State's going to be very good. I think they're a 8-4 team, 9-3 again. But I'm not sold on the playoff hype or the championship hype. But speaking of championships, TCU versus Colorado, week 1. TCU was the runner-up in the national championship, got blown out by my Georgia Bulldogs. You got Colorado, Deion Sanders, first year. This is week 1, guys. This is going to another 2 teams that's going to tell the tale for their season. Is TCU going to be, winning games right off the rip? Is Deion Sanders going to come in and just totally destroy TCU? Or is he going to make a statement for this game? What you think?
Yeah, it does make things interesting with the national runner-up who was supposed to be in the conversation last year. TCU had this Cinderella season. It was great up until the point they lost to Georgia. They didn't even win, dude. They didn't even win the Big 10 or Big 12. I'm sorry. You remember they lost to Kansas State. That was their lone loss, but they still got that third seed in the playoffs, and they go on. They get crushed 65-7. Max Duggan is gone. I'm trying to think. I think they bring back like D Winters, who's a linebacker. So they bring some pieces back on defense, but it'd be interesting to see their quarterback situation. I haven't looked into it too much, but um, Quentin Johnson's a big time receiver. He's gone to the NFL. So you lose some key pieces. You're dealing with the man that knows football, Deion Sanders in Colorado. What he did at Jackson State was pretty good. I kind of laughed a little bit at him, when he took the Colorado job. I'm like, you're taking a Power 5 job. You're kind of crazy. But who knows? I mean, we don't know what Deion's going to do at Colorado. So I think that's what makes this game interesting. I'm not ready to pick it yet, but get ready because you have a national runner-up that has to replace a lot of talent, and you have a first-year head coach at a program that only won 1 game last year.
Yeah, and I think like you said, this is kind of the unknown. This is like an unknown game. TCU gets blown out by the Georgia Bulldogs in national title. Colorado has a very brand new head coach in Deion Sanders. He's never coached in the Power 5. So this is a great, interesting matchup to see week 1. Who's going to step up? Is TCU going to continue their dominance in the regular season? A lot of expectations for Deion Sanders at Colorado. If he loses this game, is everybody going to say, well, the hype was there, is everybody going to start, you know, putting down Deion Sanders? I don't know. That's what college football fans do. So, with that being said, we got some new people in the chat. We are simulcasting this live stream on Ballard Sports Media and Eat 'em Dogs channel. So, if you want to go check both of them out, we're live streaming simulcast. We also have some new guys in the chat. Sam Bell, he says, "What's up, Ballard Sports Media?"
I know
And
him very well. What's up, Sam?
we also have Waylon in the chat. He says, "I am getting ready for the Tupelo Car Show. Great job." So,
Love you, Waylon. Roll Tide, brother.
so like like I said in the beginning, if you like this content, smash the thumbs up on whatever broadcast that you're watching. We got Oklahoma versus Cincinnati, Week 4.
Oklahoma went, what'd they go, 6-6 last year with the bowl loss to Florida
Yeah,
State in the Cheez-It Bowl. They bring back Dylan Gabriel, I believe. Is that right? Are they bringing him back? I
yeah,
think
I
he
think
could be good. I think he could be good. Cincinnati, you enter the unknown with a new head coach, Scott Satterfield. You enter the Big 12. What makes it interesting, you got a team leaving the Big 12. You got a team entering the Big 12. Oklahoma's fixing to leave for the SEC. Cincinnati and Houston and everybody coming into the Big 12. It's going to be fun to see conference realignment. I'm not too high on it. I like college football as it is, but it's something we got to deal with. We'll get used to it. And, I think this is going to be one of Cincinnati's first challenges of being in the Power Five. I think this is a great game to highlight.
yep. And good afternoon, Twisted Rooster. He's
What's
in the
up?
chat. Love you, brother. So, yeah, I think Oklahoma Cincinnati is going to be a good matchup to see. Can Oklahoma bounce back from a terrible 6-7 record last year? That's unacceptable for Oklahoma. Oklahoma should be winning in 9, 10, 11, 12 games a year. So, can they bounce back? And Cincinnati, they got a brand new head coach. Can they bounce back from that? They were, a couple years removed from a playoff berth. Can they get back to that level of competition? And can they succeed in the Big 12? But we got another two teams that I would love to see. USC versus Utah in Week 8. Utah beat USC twice last year. Can USC finally break that winning streak and defeat Utah? What you think?
I think it's a great possibility. Where's the game at? Do you know?
I'm not sure. I can look it up real quick.
Okay, while you're doing that, I'll say this. Pac-12 championship last year, we went live for it. It was amazing. It was a great game to watch. I think it was it like 38-31? It had to have been close. USC was right there on the tip of the iceberg to make their college football playoff debut, and it didn't happen. Now they bring back Caleb Williams. Now they bring back Mario Williams and other receivers that they have, and Lincoln Riley. I think USC stock is rising up so high right now, and I think they're on an incline. And I think that they're right there knocking on the door to the playoff this year. They got to get past Utah Week 8. They can't have any slip ups or errors this time around. That's why this game is so important to highlight. And you also, Utah plays Florida at the beginning of the year. I think they get them at home this time. And Cam Rising is a talented quarterback. That's going to be tough to defend.
Yeah, like we were talking about, they play at USC. So USC does not want to get beat in their home stadium. Last year they played at Utah. Utah came away with the win, and then they won in the Pac-12 championship, like we already said. So this is going to be a very exciting game to watch. With the it's kind of been like a heated rivalry last year, and I hate that. And we talked about conference realignment there for a second, and I agree with you, Ballard. I really don't like the whole conference realignment thing because USC is going to the Big Ten, and they won't have that Utah rivalry anymore. But this is going to be very exciting to see this. You know, I just have a very good feeling that USC might win this game. But we talk about rivalries. What about the Iron Bowl, Ballard?
Yeah, well, the Iron Bowl, I believe, is probably the biggest, if not one of the biggest rivalries in football. And it's a game where anything and everything can and probably will happen. Like I said last year during Hate Week, I just got done watching this weekend highlights, and we went live for it. Auburn's spring game. Did you happen to catch any of that?
Yeah, I did. They had some.
They looked like they were solid. They were not bad.
Yeah, they weren't bad, but they
Uh,
weren't great either. They
Yeah, it
didn't
was
look
weird that they started out. So Hugh Freeze wants to implement this new thing on a spring game where he wants his team to play from behind. It's kind
right.
of weird. I think it was like 24-0 to start
Yeah, and then
out.
they
And
eventually tied 24-24.
yeah, and that's what it ended up being. So it looked like the team was able to come back. It looked like Robbie Ashford was out there making plays. We saw a little bit of TJ Finley. I have a quarterback. I can't think of his name. I think it started with H. Um, but I mean, look, whoever it's going to be, I'll say this: these two teams give it everything they have on the football field when it comes to the Iron Bowl in rivalry week. I think a lot of teams give it everything they have for their in-state rivals. Hugh Freeze has experience in the SEC, has beat Nick Saban before when he was at Ole Miss. So he knows what it takes. He's a first year head coach. I know he's coming from a group of five in Liberty, but at the same time, he has impressed a lot of the Auburn fans so far this offseason. And we've heard really good things about the Auburn team. And, you know, only time will tell. But I think when this game rolls around, Auburn could be sitting in a good position where, they could be bowl eligible. This game is also, by the way, I will mention at Jordan Hare. So that's never been an easy place for Alabama to go. And the fact that they've had a first year head coach, remember when Brian Harsin a couple years ago in 2021, even though he got fired, he took it to 4 overtimes with Nick Saban. Gus Malzahn had the kick six in 2013. So look at the record, look at the history of first year head coaches in the Iron Bowl with Auburn. Um, it's not an easy task, and it's also going to make things more difficult for the Tide, considering it's on the road on the plains.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a tough game for Alabama, but I do think Alabama pulls away and wins this game. I think Hugh Freeze is just a couple years away from being, I guess, being back to Auburn. I know, like, being back to, every other couple years, winning the West or something. I think they're a couple years away from all that. This is his very first year. I think the expectations are definitely you have to make a bowl game. That's a most definite. Because you had a bad season last year, and you have a brand new head coach. The expectations should be more than a bowl game. But this rivalry week is going to be, I guess, so much better as far as the fans go. Um, you know, I feel like Hugh Freeze was the last guy to beat. I'm pretty sure the only guy to beat Nick Saban 2 times in a row. So
Yeah, 2014, 2015, I remember. I remember
So
that.
this is going to be one of the. This reminds me a lot of the Jimbo Fisher versus Nick Saban. This reminds me of that. I think you're going to see like a Hugh Freeze versus Nick Saban, leading into that week, and it should be a great game. Speaking of great games, we also got Georgia versus Tennessee, week 12. This is probably Georgia's toughest game on their schedule. It's at Tennessee. Last year was the hype of Tennessee. You know, they were going undefeated, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. Ended up choking away to Georgia and South Carolina. Shout out to Twisted Rooster. Um, you know, Tennessee had a lot of hype in the beginning, and then they choked it away at the end. This is also at the end of the season, right before we play Georgia Tech. Tennessee has a new quarterback, but he's had Milton. He's had experience starting for the Tennessee Volunteers, so that's going to be in Georgia. Georgia has a quarterback situation where all of our quarterbacks never started a college football game. So hopefully by week 12, Georgia has something going on. And I think we will, obviously. But I think it's going to be Carson Beck show versus Joe Milton. And man, Georgia's very talented. I expect Georgia to win this game, but it's at Tennessee. Tennessee has that stadium was it, crowd noise. They have a true home field advantage there. So tell me a little bit about this.
Oh, you're ready for me?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's at Neyland. Alabama went there last year, got our butts kicked, man. Not like got our butts. I know it came down to a field goal, but I think Tennessee, with the offense and the style of play that they have under Josh Heupel, I think with that going up against a Georgia defense, Georgia's losing Jalen Carter, and I'm trying to think of a couple other guys. You lose like Nolan Smith, and so Broderick Jones, you lose him on the offensive line. Georgia's losing some talent. Georgia's mission this year is to three-peat. I don't think that's going to happen, and I think Tennessee could be a reason why. I'm not ready to pick a game like this. I think it's one you got to be careful with, but go to Neyland Stadium late in the year, and who knows where Tennessee's going to stand at that point in the season. This could definitely be a trap for the Dogs.
Well, I do think Georgia finds its way back into the playoffs. Whether they win the national championship is up for grabs there. I will agree with most people. Our schedule is not the hardest of all schedules, and that's why I'm excited to see this Georgia versus Tennessee, because this is the hardest game on Georgia's schedule. So, our defense is going nowhere. Okay, we got dudes. Yes, we lose Jalen Carter, Broderick Jones, but we got guys like Nazir Stackhouse. We got guys like we got guys up front, and a lot of people don't realize this, and I don't know. I don't know why people don't understand this. And I told people last offseason that Georgia uses first and second. They rotate guys. They're constantly rotating guys. A lot of people said last year, "Oh, well, y'all losing a lot of guys on the defense." What was it like? I don't know how many people, like 15, or
Yeah.
I don't. It was a ridiculous amount of number on the defense. And people was like, "Oh my goodness, you lose so many people on your defense. Y'all not going to be no good anymore." And I said, "What are you talking about? We rotate players all the time. We're going to be great." And people didn't believe me, and we went 15-0. So I'm not believing that. Georgia is, it's very hard to go better than 15-0. Okay, so yeah, we might take a slight step back and lose a game, but as far as talent goes, we're not missing a beat here. Before I get my rant started here, let's move on from that because
Yeah.
Georgia's going to be if you think the defense is going to fall off the face of the earth, then y'all don't know anything about football. I mean, Georgia is bringing Jordan Baby Hall, Nazir Stackhouse. We have guys up there that are going to be just as good and if not even better. So let's talk about some breakout teams.
I don't know.
Ballards.
I go ahead, but man, some people gonna hate me for this first one, but go ahead.
Ballard's first breakout team. Colorado. What you think?
I mean, it has to get better, right? After only winning one game. I think I don't know if I want to call it a breakout team as much as it should be a spotlight team. Like this is a team that we want to watch because of Deion Sanders. Um, this is a team that does return a lot of players, picked up some guys in the portal, and I'm not saying it's going to be Pac-12 worthy or anything like that, but could Deion Sanders win a couple games this year? I think that's what Colorado wants, and I think that's what all they're asking for is a few more wins. Um, if they could barely miss a bowl game, then going forward, what's the expectations going to be for Deion Sanders? So I think this first year for him, I think is very important.
Right. And before I get to this breakout team right here, I want to say this last thing because I kind of froze up a couple minutes ago there. But Georgia has dudes. Michael Williams, Bear Alexander last year uh, versus TCU in the national championship. You couldn't even stop them guys. Okay. And we got Jordan Baby Hall. Watch out for this guy. He's going to be amazing on the defensive line. So you kind of got me heated there for a second, and I was losing my train of thought there. But yeah, Colorado. I don't know if they're going to be a breakout team. They should at least make a bowl game and that. But a team that I do think is going to be breaking out this year is Washington.
Okay.
And I'm gonna tell you why. Like I said in my take, I think they're making the playoffs. So that would be a breakout team. I mean, a team that nobody except for me and maybe a couple other people are expecting Washington to get into the playoffs. That would be breaking out, wouldn't it? I mean, like you said, they won 9 or 10 games last year, and I think they can do better. I think they can. I think they can win the Pac-12. I think they can get into the playoffs. I think they can go 11-1, 12-1, Pac-12 champs, and get into the playoffs and lose in the first round. But with that being said, Washington, to me, they bring, like you said, they bring back their quarterback, bring back a lot on offense, bring back a lot on defense. Their head coach is a very good head coach, and don't be surprised if you see Washington in that last Final Four vote there. And
I
another
think
team.
Waylon. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think Waylon gives me hope on Colorado here. He says Colorado beats TCU easily. They're a Division II team.
Uh,
That might give me hope for my take about Colorado.
well, I don't. We talked about that earlier in the most exciting games of 2023, and I still think TCU is going to win that game. Come on, man! They just came out. They just came out of a national championship. They got embarrassed. They're not going to get embarrassed 2 times. Come on now. They're not going to get embarrassed twice. So you're meaning
Right.
to tell me that TCU in the national championship, loses 65-7, turn around and lose to a first-year head coach in the Power Five? No, I don't believe that. I don't. And look, listen, Waylon might be trolling here, but TCU, man, they're a little bit better. I think Georgia was just that much better than everybody. TCU's going to be all right. But for Ballard's second breakout team, which I also agree with this, is Notre Dame.
The first thing that sticks out to me, I've already done a schedule preview, and it slips my mind what I had them going. I think I had them maybe 8-4, 9-3, but that's still pretty good for Marcus Freeman. What sticks out to me, though, they brought in quarterback Sam Hartman with that offense. They got a graduate wide receiver and Caleb Smith and Matt Salerno, and they have so much depth and experience, especially in grad seniors on both sides of the ball. A lot of linebacker depth too. J.D. Bertrand and Jack Kaiser, and they have so much depth. So, man, I love to hear your take on this because you said you agree with me on Notre Dame. I'm just trying to find the words to put it in perspective, but I just think Notre Dame has that depth. I think they have the schedule too. Not to go undefeated, but they can win a couple extra games.
Yeah, so they won. A lot of people don't realize this, but Notre Dame won the last 6 out of the last 7 games that they had.
That's good. That's good.
And they topped it off with beating South Carolina in the bowl game, which was a very good South Carolina team because they won. South Carolina beat Clemson and Tennessee in back-to-back weeks and turn around and lose to Notre Dame. So you got to get, and like you said, Notre Dame's returning a lot of guys, and they also have Sam Hartman, like you said. Sam Hartman is a very good quarterback, and going to Notre Dame is going to help him. I think Notre Dame is going to be much improved, and I think they build momentum off of last year, and they just keep on going. I'm not saying that Notre Dame is going to go 12-0. I'm not saying that. They got Ohio State to play. They got USC to play again. They have a pretty hard schedule, but I do think 9 games is feasible for this team.
I like it, man. I like it. What's up next? What we got?
So my second breakout team is Baylor. They had a very disappointing season last year. They went 6-6. Can't remember if they won their bowl game or not, but Baylor is supposed to be really good. I believe in Dave Aranda. Dave Aranda is a very, very, very good coach. And Baylor should be winning more than 6 games. I think they break out this year. I'm not saying that they're going to playoffs. I made that mistake last year. Last year, I said Baylor was making the playoffs, and they laid a turd. So this year, I'm saying that they're not making the playoffs. So maybe they'll surprise me and get up there. But I do think the expectation for Baylor is 8, 9, maybe even 10 wins. They're going to break out. And what I mean by breakout is, they won 6 games last year. They're going to do way much better than that. They should. I'm going to say this. They're going to win 9 games this coming year, at least. If they don't, then my whole take of Baylor being a breakout team is just out the window. What you think?
And a key game on their schedule, circle September 9th, they host Utah. That could be a key game that could help them get the 8 or 9 wins you're talking about. Yes, I agree with you. I think that they have I know we joke and we talk about the Big 12 has no defense. They had a pretty decent defense last year. You had Doyle, the linebacker with 88 tackles. You had Morgan on the interception leader with 3. He's a safety. So um, they return a lot, man. I don't know. I haven't seen too many draft prospects from them. From like doing my research for the draft or anything like that. Maybe Dylan Doyle's out, but because I know he was a senior. But I don't know, man. The way their defense was coached up last year was I'm not going to say outstanding or terrific, but I thought it was good enough for the Big 12. They just got to put it on paper again and just take that extra step forward.
Yeah, last year, if you don't remember, they lost to BYU in second overtime.
Yep.
They lost to West Virginia by 3 points, and that was at the very end of that game. I watched that game. They lose to TCU by literally a walk-off field goal. A really iconic game of last year. If they win all them 3 games, 6, that's 9. That's 9 wins. That's 9. That's 3 games that they should have won. So I expect Baylor to break out this year. 9 or 10 wins. That's just my thoughts on that. Let's go to the comments.
Yeah, let's see who we got in here, man. I see Sorgi and Waylon. I see all kinds of family that we have at Ballard Sports Media.
And we also have Sorgi Stories. What's up, guys? We also have Lewis Pap. He said, like and share, everyone. Go Blue.
Thank you.
And we also got Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. Welcome to the Touchdown Tuesday show. I really appreciate everybody that has tuned in. This is the return of Touchdown Tuesdays, season 2, episode 1. So if you like this content, smash the thumbs up. We are broadcasting both on Ballard Sports Media and Eat 'em Dogs. And if you haven't subscribed to either one of them channels, give it a try, give it a like and a subscribe for us. That would really appreciate it. Everything is completely free. But to end the show, we're gonna answer this last question right here. And I want you to go first. What will the Final Four? What will the final year of the Final Four team playoff show us?
That's a big question. That's a deep question too. I think I think it depends on what kind of teams you get in there is what it's going to show us. I think if you get a Cinderella out of nowhere team like we have with TCU, let's take it from that standpoint. If you get a out of nowhere team in there again, I think it will show that anybody, if they're willing to compete, can make the college football playoff. I also think that if you get a team like Georgia or an Alabama or Ohio State or a familiar foe in there, I think maybe it'll show that it's meant for the big guys. I think that it'll show us a lot about what teams are the college football playoff is meant for. I know any Power 5 team, or even if they wanted to put like the American Conference or whoever, I know that any team could get put in there by the committee, but I think to show what it's truly meant for, if it's meant for the big dogs such as Georgia or Alabama, or if it's meant for a Cinderella team like what we had with TCU last year, I think we're going to see who it's meant for is what it's going to show us. Going to transition to a 12 team too.
Right. And I'm going to go ahead and say this. I think this Final Four team playoff will show us the same exact thing it showed us for the last couple of years. You start out a couple of years ago. All right. So this past year, you had a Cinderella team in TCU. The year before that, you had a Cinderella team in Michigan. Hold on, guys, before you say, well, Michigan's not a Cinderella team. They were unranked to start the season, and
True.
then they made the playoffs. So, yes, that year they were a Cinderella team. The year before that, Cincinnati. they were a Cinderella team. So I think it's going to show us the same exact thing. I think you're going to have your common three guys that should be in the playoffs, and then I think there's going to be a Cinderella that um I think there's going to be a Cinderella team that pops out of nowhere that like a Washington, like a Baylor, like a Utah. These guys that haven't even made the playoffs. So that's what I think this Final Four team playoff is going to show us. And you're going to have your few people that agree with expansion. You're going to have your few people that disagree with expansion. Um, I don't know. I don't agree with 12, but I do think that they need to expand. I want to get your thoughts on that. Would you agree with expansion?
Yes, but I thought it should have been 8 teams, not 12. I think
And
you meet in the middle between. I think 4. I think expansion helps the 4-team playoff because think about all the debates like a few years ago when Alabama got in 2017 over Ohio State, or you've always had the controversial who gets the 4th spot. It can help you if you go to 8 teams because then you could get those other teams that are deserving of the 4th spot. I just think 12 is too much, man. I mean, eventually we're going to see college football turn into March Madness, but in December.
yeah, I like. Thank you, Lewis Pap, for correcting me. That's since he was in the same as Michigan, but um, my whole point is that you have these Cinderella teams that come in every single year, and I think you'll get much of the same this coming year. Um, let's read some comments here. This is the last of the playoff committee. Get ready for the 12-team playoff. Yep, we got to get ready for it, man. I don't agree with it. I think maybe an 8-team playoff with 2 teams get a bye week or something like that would be more suitable. At 12 teams, I mean, you can pretty much guess. Um, I don't know. And Joey brings up, a good point here. It says, I couldn't be so lucky as March Football Madness in December. Yeah, I mean, I guess you could have a March Madness in December, a December Madness. I don't know. I just don't see. I think your common guys like Georgia, Alabama, um, Ohio State, Michigan, them type of teams are gonna win in the first round. I don't know. Shout out to motivated and dedicated here. Go Georgia Bulldogs. Go Georgia Bulldogs. I'm going to the spring game this weekend, so hopefully I can meet some of y'all. But he
I gotta
said
say,
he's saying that we're gonna three-peat. What you think about that?
you realize who you're messing with in football if you're trying to three-peat, right? You know the tide's coming. Rammer, jammer, yellow hammer, give them hell, Alabama. Woo! We're coming.
So let's answer this question. Let's drop a question in the comment section. I want to do this to end the show. Sorgy Stories. Shout out to him. He says, "Is Wisconsin this year's Cinderella?" Probably not, but I hope so. You go first.
Luke Fickell, I mean, I think he could be that guy for Wisconsin that could do it. We've seen Wisconsin put themselves in a place where they almost made the playoff if they had won the Big Ten a few years ago. That was the 2017 season. I think it's going to take the right coach to get them in the playoff. I don't know about this year being a Cinderella team, but maybe a couple years down the road they could be.
All right. Yeah, I think so. I think they. I'm sorry. I posted a.
You put that on mine? You put
No,
that on mine?
Hold on, hold on.
I hate you.
I am so sorry. I posted a comment as Edom Mayhem, And since we're
Posted it as
broadcasting,
all, you idiot.
since we are broadcasting on both channels, it decided to go ahead and let Ballard know that go dogs in that. So I'm
I'll
sorry
make
that
up
kind of
for that.
I'm sorry that literally just threw me off there. I'm so sorry for that. But
Oh man, I accidentally did this. I accidentally
but I'm so sorry that totally threw me off there. So
that's so funny.
hey, put some questions in the comment section so that we can answer. I'm gonna go ahead and answer. I think that Wisconsin, it could be a Cinderella because I know Luke Fickell. He's been in. Listen, he's been in the playoff before, but Wisconsin hasn't. So and to be a playoff team in that in the very first year of Luke Fickell would be a Cinderella-ish type of team. But
Yeah.
but man, I had a great time on this live stream. Anybody that has a question, drop a comment in the chat. If you like this stream so far, put a W in the chat. Okay, everybody, put W's in the chat if you like this stream real quick. Any
Oh, and
last words?
hey, I was gonna say, here's an idea for us. If you guys have any suggestions for topics that you want to see on this show, hit us up. What's your email, man? You can email me at ballardsports19@gmail.com, or you can comment on a video or find me on Twitter. But Mayhem, if you want to share your email out, that's up to you. But if they have ideas, man, we're always up for ideas for the show.
Yeah, and you can hit me up at eatemdogspodcast@gmail.com. And what's yours again?
Ballardsports19@gmail.
So I'm gonna put it up on the screen for anybody
Okay.
that wants to email us for video, for live stream purposes. If y'all have any, eatemdogspodcast@gmail.com, ballardsports19@gmail.com. If y'all have any suggestions for this live show, Touchdown Tuesdays, or just drop a comment if you're in the replay. Just drop a comment on one of our streams. We'll see it, or leave a comment on any of our videos. We'll see it. So, hey, if you like this content, smash the thumbs up, whatever channel you're on, and please subscribe to Ballard Sports Media and the Eat 'em Dogs channel. Joey, that's a great idea. Go ahead, like and
Do it.
share.
Come on.
Like and share. And my final words is go dogs. Any final words?
Roll Tide, and I think we had a great show. We hope to bring you more content.
Yep. Love y'all. Mean it. See ya, guys.
Love you guys. See ya. Peace.